sniping bot lane support, just an absolute CC monster, followed by a Nunu and a Vladimir ban.
Yeah, and we saw the amount of work that a Nautilus can do in the support role. Immensely tanky, does not take damage, and can initiate from half the map away and allow what was in this case a Callista to come and do damage. Definitely get rid of that hero.
Yeah, some of those initiates were very beautiful. Coming in, just getting the free ultimate and essentially stopping Cog in his tracks, basically covering an entire lane's worth of distance. Now following up on that, Sion is a last champion ban from Best Players Ocean.
Yeah, Relia and Sion have been banned since game 1. They were definitely not wanting to be a part of this game. No Sejuani ban here from Best Players Ocean, given how much work it did last game. We can see the Orianna in response here, but Best Players Ocean are first pick, and Jakey does play Sedge.
Oh, but looks like Chippies is going to be locking in that Hecarim, must value that much higher than the Sejuani. Chippy's a good Hecarim player, if I'm not mistaken.
Now, Chippies is definitely good on that Hecarim. I'm a little bit surprised that they opted towards the Hecarim opposed to the Sejuani. We did see a very strong Hecarim in game 1, though, carrying the game from Christmas trees. So
yeah, definitely.
Either way, they took away a strong champion, but we'll see what the response is here from Sudden Fear, what they'll take to get back at the Hecarim pick first.
Well, you got to think that since Gragas is available, BPO might be okay with giving away that Sejuani and settling from the Gragas, but like you said, where attention is now focused on what Sudden Fear will pick in retaliation. They're hovering over the Lulu, worked wonders for them in the first game, the Sejuani wonders in the second game, and it's no surprise that both of those champions are locked in.
Definitely not surprised by either pick being locked in right there, though. The Lulu being picked may well be top, may well be mid. We're not entirely sure just yet. We have seen mostly mid in this series with the Lulu, but up against the Hecarim, I would be surprised if it is top.
Yeah, it looks like Velko is probably not going to be played here, but hovered over Ziggs. Ziggs we've been wanting to see in this tournament so far. He's such a strong mid laner at the moment, so it will be interesting to see if he gets locked in. A better version of Xerath.
Well, that's the argument that we've been having, yes. We think that Xerath does the same things as Ziggs, but Ziggs is just more reliable with a bit bigger AoE and has a satchel charge and a little bit of utility to give him some bonus stats. So if it were locked in, it'd be a smart decision here from Best Players Ocean.
Yeah, his ultimate definitely a lot easier to hit, that's for sure. So yeah, just hovering over that Ziggs. Haven't hovered over their third pick yet, but it'll be interesting to see if they go for a support or maybe a jungler.
I wouldn't be surprised if they even just went for a Callista out of nowhere here just to try and take it away. Instead, they're going to go for the Thresh. And not a Rek'Sai, it is a Gragas.
No, the Rek'Sai, we saw Rek'Sai doing a lot of work yesterday and then getting banned out for the remainder of it, but not being selected here as Gragas and Sejuani, the two highest contested junglers currently, both being picked up. So the jungle pressure this game is going to be amazing from either team.
And an extremely good draft so far from Best Players Ocean. They've got three very strong heroes, taking a Thresh away from any chance of having part 2 on that Thresh. I don't think we've seen him play it just yet, or was it in game 1?
I'm not 100% sure, but Thresh, you can't say more about Thresh. He's such a staple support, basically the benchmark when it comes to supports. If you want to be a top-tier support, you have to know how to play Thresh, kind of like the Lee Sin for the jungle of old.
Yeah, he does it all, and having the Gragas to back it up and the Hecarim, both immensely strong. They're going to do a lot of work in their respective areas. Hecarim in the top lane, of course, Gragas in the jungle. It's going to be very hard for a Sejuani to be able to brawl if they do meet each other one-on-one in the jungle.
Yeah, and looks like Sivir and Kennen going to be hovered over here. Could this be the fabled Kennen support, or maybe even top?
It may well be the Kennen support, but we've seen Kennen mids, we've seen Kennen tops. You can't really make the assessment just yet until the rest of the team is picked. And with the Lulu hovered, it could still swap out at any lane.
Now, if that was a Callista instead of a Sivir, I'd be so sure. I would bet my money that that would have been a Kennen support. But with Sivir, not 100% sure. Kennen's such a versatile champion, can go in many different lanes. We used to see him ADC back in the day.
Yeah, we did. And not to mention that they have picked the Thresh, though. So picking the Kennen may well be the support. You've got the Sivir to enable extra move speed for you to use that lightning rush and get in and engage a lot easier. There's no Janna to knock you away.
Yeah,
There's no counter to your engage right now. They do have a Gragas, though, so interesting that they've picked the Kennen knowing that a Gragas was there.
Yeah, hopefully they feel that Kennen can just, with the extra speed from Sivir, get on the opposite end of that Gragas ult, and even maybe it assist him by getting even further into the team. So Jakey's going to have to be on point with those explosive casts.
That's right. We'll see what happens with there. I like the hover of Graves right now, though. It's a Zeratul special. He's so good on this hero, and it complements the aggressive playstyle that we've seen him have so perfectly. So a smart pickup here.
Yeah, definitely the toughest and manliest carry, AD carry at the moment, showing so much potential to win early trades with his passive, giving him stacking magic and armor. Really something that people overlook when trying to trade with Graves here.
Yeah, that's right. And if he has the 10 stacks up, it's very hard to actually out-trade him regardless. But you are Sivir, and you do have the spell shield, so the buckshot not going to be able to do a whole lot in laning phase if you're up against the Sivir. So we'll see how he goes.
Yeah, the buckshot kind of predictable, has a really good sound cue, so you're able to get that Sivir spell shield rather. And even if she wants to mana the smoke screen, pretty easy to predict as well.
Yeah, very much so. You can quite easily get some mana back at any stage you would like if you're Sivir. But then again, we shouldn't really be saying that you're spell shielding a Graves Buckshot when there's a Thresh in the lane, is there?
That's exactly
right. A little
right.
bit scarier is the death sentence coming out of a bush.
We went on with a bit of a tangent there, but as Cassiopeia is locked in for the mid lane of Sudden Fear, that will confirm our suspicions that it is a Kennen support.
And it is in fact a Lulu top lane.
Oh, really? Completely overlooked. So Sudden Fear bringing out very strong meta picks right now for this third and potentially final game for them.
Yeah, and Chippies, if you'll take note, most people on Hecarim like to go for the Ignite or the Smite top lane Hecarim right now. He's opting towards the Flash.
Yeah. So we give that a minute before it's completely locked in. But yeah, going for Flash on Hecarim, haven't seen that in quite a while. It doesn't feel like it's essentially needed on Hecarim because of his extreme speed and ability to get over walls with his ultimate.
Yeah, that's right. He's such a high mobility champion that you don't often see the necessity for a Ghost or a Flash taken. But I guess you're up against a team with a Sejuani, a big front line like the Kennen even as well, the AoE that they can put out. You may want to flash over it.
Yeah, and keep in mind, looking at the team of BPO, all of their members have the abilities, aside from Xerath, to dash over walls, and that's what the Thresh lane is going to be for. So if fights that they're potentially losing up against their backs up against a wall, they will have the potential to escape from that.
That's true. They do have a lot of disengage, and they've all got the mobility that you were speaking about. It could work out quite well for them if they do need to disengage, but then their engage needs to be a little bit more prevalent than that, I would imagine. Yeah,
well, after the last team comp, hopefully we do see some engage out of them. But then looking across at Sudden Fear, Cassiopeia once again on Chenny Boy. He did an amazing job last game of just poking out the Lulu anytime an objective was even close to coming up, that way to maintain control over that mid lane.
Yeah, the pressure was there last game. The Cassiopeia was doing a lot of work, 1v1. Then again, so was the Gnar in every respective lane. But in this particular game, we're looking at the Cassiopeia against the Xerath now. And it's not as easy to poke out a Xerath because he's so high ranged.
Yeah, Xerath is going to be able to stay well out of the Twin Fang range. If Cassiopeia wants to get super aggressive, I'm sure unless a stray ult hit, she's going to have to burn a flash to get in there. Maybe off a slow from her poison, but who knows?
Well, there is the possibility again of the level 2 cheese, but you need to be a lot more aware as the Cassiopeia in this case to dodge the Xerath stuns and be able to secure the gap closing skills without being kept at distance.
Well, if we look at both mid laners, each of them has taken cleanse. So going to be able to avoid the CC coming out of each of them while also avoiding the Glacial Prison on the side of Best Players Ocean, yeah.
Yeah, so I actually like the cleanse pickup on the Xerath in this game. And I guess I could question why we have a cleanse on the Cassiopeia. You want more offensive kill stats, but if you're looking to kill your opponent in a 1v1 lane, why not get the cleanse and just cleanse through the stun and just keep running at him?
That's pretty much it. Because if Xerath's stun is in range to hit you, then you're in range to hit him.
Yeah.
So she's going to be wanting to get rid of that stun as soon as possible and continue on with the maximum damage output.
Yeah, exactly right. And that's most likely what we'll see the cleanse used for. Other than that, there's a Thresh Hook.
Yeah.
And then the Fear from the Hecarim ult.
And so looking over at Lulu versus Hecarim in the top. Hecarim's such a lane bully, but Lulu provides some good early game soft crowd control. Is that going to be enough to keep Hecarim at bay?
It'll be enough to at least attempt to poke him out of lane early. You've got a lot of pressure as Lulu level 1. You've got the Pix auto attack bonus damage. It's going to help a lot. Hecarim starts with his Q, so Rampage, and doesn't actually have the sustain that he would like yet. So there's a chance that the Lulu could push him in and deny a bit of farm, but once the Hecarim gets rolling, once he starts getting, say, a Spectre's Cowl and has some magic resistance, he'll be perfectly fine in that lane. And I would almost say in a 1v1 situation, Hecarim will outscale Lulu by 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, he did also take Ignite, so he is going to be looking for those fights, not the Flash, which is pretty much unnecessary on Hecarim. And then in the bot lane, we have Kennen. I haven't seen a lot of Kennen paired with Sivir. I know Callista's like to throw the Kennen right in there so the Slicing Maelstrom can be activated immediately. How do you feel that this will work with Sivir?
Well, I guess the difference with the Callista Kennen combo is that you're looking to throw them in so that you can crowd control and lock them in place for as long as possible so that you can get Ren stacks.
Yeah, of course.
Now with the Sivir, it's going to be a little bit more on just doing damage in combo with the Kennen. Kennan's going to have a much bigger impact on that 2v2, and he needs to be able to stay in there and not just lock them down, but do a lot of damage himself.
Yeah, Kennen does have quite a long auto attack range, despite being nerfed quite a few patches ago when he was running rampant in the top. But being able to get those Spell Thief's Edge procs pretty sufficiently, and yeah, the W bonus does a lot of damage and can catch you off guard with the passive stacking up for a stun.
Yeah, very underrated support hero would be Kennen. The fact that he can sit there and at a safe distance throw out shurikens and at least get some passive gold if the lane's not going well for him. It's just so strong, and then you hit level 6 and suddenly you can kill anyone in the game with your AD carry in a 2v2.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where the advantage falls early in this game. But Graves, no stranger to real brawls, being able to get in there with the buckshot, hitting multiple members for multiple damage. The passive, like we said, going. But anyway, we're going to be jumping onto the Rift for Sudden Fear versus Best Players Ocean.
Game 3 coming in right now as we're zooming in on part 2, running as the Kennen MD skin, which is a fantastic skin, by the way. I absolutely adore that one.
All that comes to mind is big fat GG of just going pop, 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 pop. I don't know if you've seen that video or not. Oh, it's a funny one. But yeah, the Kennen support, going for that Spell Thieves, going to be losing out on a bit of the mana regen that item provides, but the damage is so worth it.
Yeah, of course. You lose out on the mana regen aspect when you're playing Kennen with the Spell Thief's Edge, but you, of course, have so much more to provide. You get a lot of gold coming out. You get a lot more.
Yeah, definitely. So it looks like Luch is going to be wasting a lot of mana to go for some poke here, but nothing really more going to be coming from it. But yeah, using his mana a lot to try and poke out the Cassiopeia early, but it's just what we've seen in common with these mid laners. They like to get in and brawl a bit, and yeah, just try to psych each other out for the lane.
Yeah, and so we're seeing Kennen basically just trying to zone at the moment. They've got that standard fan start again. Nothing crazy is going to happen at the moment. They're going to start blue buff for the Sejuani, and we can see the bot lane of Best Players Ocean are just going to casually do their Krugs and call it a day.
Yeah, with Sejuani starting on that Grump, it's going to give her the extra poison damage to clear a lot faster with it applying on minion buff.
Yeah, definitely. And Chippy's interesting. Is he going to be starting Gromp, do you think?
I'm not too sure. It looks like
Wolves.
Lulu might come in and check because Hecarim is very notorious for doing that, going for the early minions. And it looks like Lulu might try and psych him out here. She's going to come in with the Glitter Lance, maybe get some harass. Chippies sees that as a potential threat, backing off, but both of them just buying time for each other. Chippies is going to be able to finish this off, though. The Wolf not resetting, but Lulu coming back for more. She's going to try and steal the Little Wolf, unsuccessful in doing so, but gets a nice chunk of damage onto Chippies, just wasting his time, wasting his health. I'm not sure if he's going to have enough to finish it. No, he will, unless Lulu again comes back. Maybe she might even force a reset, but the Glitter Lance comes out, unfortunately, not stealing it. Chippy securing that level 2, and that's just ending up being a waste of time for Lulu.
Definitely a waste of time for Lulu. Very close to stealing it, though, unfortunately. A bit of a psych out from the Hecarim, stopping hitting it. I guess knew how much damage that Lulu was capable of doing, so very smart play. And he's just going to teleport back to lane, and the only one who lost out there was Lulu.
Yeah, that is unfortunate. She did not need to teleport back to lane, just walking up there as her mana should be sufficient enough to keep her up. But it looks like the level 2 advantage for Hecarim is going to be huge. He's going to have that lifesteal. He's going to have that Q available to clear minion waves. So yeah, not much that Lulu's going to have to say in this early stage of the game.
No, she's going to have to start pushing in minions to at least get that level 2 before Hecarim can try and get some snowball on that rampage stack and just run it, Lulu. So managing to get the 2 now, she's going to be a little bit better off in lane, and nothing's going to come from it with the Hecarim, just a little bit of poke.
Yeah, that's what we like to see from these top laners, going into the jungle, getting themselves a level 2 advantage, and really just kind of fast-tracking the action in the top lane.
Yeah, Flask start as well from the Hecarim, which is interesting. He's managed to get the wolf, so he has so many pots sitting there for him, readily available. He's more than happy to take as much harass as need be. He's just going to soak it all up and use a red pot.
Yeah, it looks like the bot lane, just as we thought, Kennen just trying to poke with auto attacks, poke with his Shuriken. But Zeratul doing a good job of staying out of the range of any real damage coming his way. Looks like the carrier just going to be trying to get some last hits for his his item here. And looks like, yeah, Patu just throwing out those shurikens. Nothing really coming from it, though.
No, there's no real big amount of kill pressure from a Civic Cannon this early in the game.
Oh, the hook narrowly missing, but here comes a lantern. It's unfortunate that hook hit, because that would have been either a kill or some burnt summoner spells.
Definitely should have been at least a burnt summoner spell, I think there. It was a very smart gank having the lantern available from Gragas. Such a strong early ganker, and That was really unlucky.
Yeah, he's got that Christmas skin on, but no presents will be delivered today, unfortunately. Yeah, it looks like the mid lane, as you said, Luch just going to be staying super far back, completely out of Cassiopeia's range, and at really no fear at the moment. He has been taken pretty low, maybe just wanting to save his mana, so going in for some auto attacks rather than the Q.
Yeah, you kind of want to do that. To save as much mana as possible, where possible, in the Xerath Cassiopeia matchup. The presence that a Cassiopeia has in laning phase is so scary, and you need to respect that.
It looks like Gragas just going to be helping Luch push up the mid lane here so he can go back and probably, not sure if he has enough for his Chalice yet, but get some extra mana regen for himself because he's going to be using his spells pretty much on cooldown to farm the wave.
He's going to have 1,000 gold, so he's got 35 CS. That should be more than enough to have the Chalice and then maybe a pink ward as well. So he's going to have more than enough. He's going to be quite content with just getting the Chalice, and it'll make laning phase a lot easier. It's Jakey here. Yeah,
it looks like he's in a great position, but unfortunately the body slam misses. But could this be bad for Jakey? He does dodge the Glitter Lance, so no slow is going to apply yet. Sejuani might go for a flash Q to knock him up, but no, just the Q will suffice. The slow comes out, and then she flashes in front of the body slam, stopping his distance, but he is going to dodge another Glitter Lance, and here comes Chippy's getting his damage back down, but Cassiopeia was transitioning up for the mid lane.
Very close, a very nice attempt at getting the kill there, but there's just not enough damage coming out of the Lulu, who doesn't have an Ignite, and the Sejuani, who is only level 4. So very unlucky as a Flay comes out there.
Yeah, just blocking Patu. Unfortunately, Siva mistimed the spell shield, and the buckshot did connect. That would have been able to give her a much better opportunity to look for further damage.
Yeah, no real lead being gained from that fight, though. Siva's just going to casually stroll back in and start last hitting again. Chenny Boy is starting to feel the pain a little bit now, though. The Chalice is on Luch. Yeah, it looks like Luch is trying to go for those auto attacks to recover even more mana, as the effect is tripled on enemy champions. I don't think it was available, but that's what I'm telling myself he was going for those autos for. He was trying to bully him out of lane a little bit more.
Yeah, getting that close to a Cassiopeia can be risky, but Kennen tagging Zeratul with the Lightning Rush, going to give him a stack that lets his Lightning auto lock onto Zeratul here.
And saving the auto attack there, Kennen. Not choosing to stun Zeratul because there was nothing to gain from it. So instead he's just going to go back into his bush. He's going to try and find a better opportunity to stun where you can maybe follow it up with a boomerang. Yeah, you really got to keep an eye on that. And just as I say, Carrier not going to be going in with that. I doubt there would be much to gain. Kennen, like you said, does have his passive stack on his auto attack. So he will be looking to open up with that, as you can get that, hit the Shuriken, hit the Lightning, and that is a stun Graves. Exactly, and they did need to recall there. They had a BS sword available to be bought on Graves, so they've got their big items now. Even the sights don't finish on Thresh. They're very content with what they're doing across the map right now. Best players Ocean, just farming.
Now, Graves, a very spike-dependent champion. Once he gets his Infinity Edge, he just wants to get in there and brawl because he gets a lot of free stats off his passive. So we'll be looking for him, once he gets those items, to be a little bit more aggressive in the bot lane.
Yeah, he does spike quite hard when he gets different item buys. And right now he's got the BF sword, so it's still a spike. It's not the Infinity Edge level spike, but it's still a big spike in terms of damage that he can put out with the buckshot. Hecarim just says g'day and waddles off. Yeah, he's letting the lane build up for himself so he can keep it on his side of the map. That way Lulu has to overextend against a Gragas, which is something you never want to do, especially a Gragas getting close to level 6. No, it is quite scary, so you can tell that Christmas Tree's natural reaction is to go and place a ward, and there's 2 in the river at the moment, so I would wager that he's quite alright when it comes to comfortability in lane. Yeah, definitely keeping himself safe here. He knows that exactly what Chippy's is trying to do, but it looks like Chippy's knocking him backwards, but the Lulu ult comes out. How will Chippy's fight this? The Ignite is here. Chippy's does have his ultimate available. It looks like he will be going for that Onslaught of Shadows. That's a lot of damage, and the first blood comes out, a nice 1v1. So well done by Chippy, saving the ultimate for as long as possible. I was surprised that knocked the Lulu back at the same time as the ultimate. Unlucky from Christmas Trees, but still, so well played from Chippies. Yeah, he must have had milliseconds left on that Hecarim E if the knockup was to still be applied. And as you said, Lulu timed her ult so well, but just not well enough, unfortunately. And we see maybe a bit of a comeback here. Well, not really a comeback, but a nice edging out their early advantage. It's a strong lead that's going to go in favor of Chippies. And we said at the start of the game, it feels as though the Hecarim starts to outscale what the Lulu can do in laning phase. And that's only going to make it better and better. Yeah, Luch not on much mana here. He's going to get completely poked down by Chenny Boy. Chenny Boy just darting around the tower, but not going to have enough to finish off Luch, as he does have to flash. That was really great positioning of the poison there to block off his escape. A little bit of a stutter from Chenny there, not opting to just directly do damage, but kind of kite back and forth when the stun wasn't available from Xerath. He had used it prior, so I think there was a chance that he could have killed him, in fact.
Definitely dodging a stun that wasn't there, but it looks like Gragas is waiting in the wings, maybe wants to go for an attempt on Chenny Boy's life if he can get a little bit lower. Luch staying around, wants him to overextend a little bit. The ultimate not available from Cassiopeia anymore.
No, not having the ultimate available removes a lot of kill pressure, but there's still definitely going to be pressure, and Jakey can see that. And he's now looking at an opportunity to gank. Yeah,
he can see there's no wards after smiting that Raptor camp, so he knows he's unseen in his attempt to go in. The stun should be what initiates the fight as the ultimate comes out from Luch. Chenny Boy getting super low. Can Luch hit the last one? No, it's going to miss.
Gragas.
Oh, and the explosive cast hits it, but in the top lane, it looks like Sejuani and Lulu were successful in taking down Hecarim.
The response comes out instantly as we didn't even notice that there was a fight going on in the top lane. So well done from Gragas, by the way, to secure that kill. Throwing it out, I believe, blindly just to at least hope that he could get it, and it was just in range to secure it. So presents given out to Cassiopeia in this case.
Yeah, that was a really good game sense from Jakey to go in that. A nice stun hitting from Luch to start it all off, and it looks like we have the first dragon of the game started for BPO.
There should not really be a way to contest this either. There was a fight in the bot lane not too long ago where the slicing Maelstrom was used by Kennen. So free dragon going to best players Ocean and a smart rotation after what happened in the mid lane.
And just like that, as we had our attention focused on the dragon, Chippy's not even getting his health hurt in the slightest, taking out Lulu in a nice 1v1.
Yeah, utilizing that home guard's teleport with the Merc treads there. Coming through, just so much damage comes out of him when he moves that fast. There's
it's huge,
here.
But Luch kind of baiting in Chenny Boy here, but has he baited his own life? He might survive the poison. Not enough, and Luch turns it around and gets the snipe.
Really unlucky that the last Q missed. Chenny Boy just so unlucky in this lane right now. 2 missed opportunities where he was so close to getting kills. Using the cleanse to dodge, I think, the stun that might have even missed. It's genuinely unfortunate.
Yeah, and in a match like this, if you let Xerath run away with it as a very mid-range champion, he's just going to bully you all the way back to your tower, and even there you're not safe.
And this is such a strong start from Best Players Ocean right now. Only a 1,000 gold lead, of course, but we've got a 2-1 Hecarim, we've got a 1-0 Gragas, 1-0 Xerath, all winning their respective lanes. And Gragas probably equaling the pressure of the Sejuani in the jungle, but Sej managing to actually get a fair CS lead.
Yeah, it looks really good from the point of Sejuani. Both junglers have finished their key items, and Sejuani going to be doing another visit back to the top lane. The Glacial Prison is available, and it looks like Chippy's is going to be the target here. He doesn't have much of an escape, but he does dodge the Sejuani Q. I think the Glacial Prison is going to come out, and there it is. Chippy's probably not going to escape this one, but he's going to give it his best shot. No, he should be available soon, but the Sejuani flashes, the slow is applied, and that's a dead Hecarim.
Yeah, unlucky that the Glitter Lance missed earlier, and they had to use the flash to actually secure the kill. Still getting the kill, though. Works out in favor, and they're managing to find all of these free kills in the top lane.
Yeah, it looks like Chenny Boy wants to go in on Luch, but if the Cassiopeia Q misses, she's not going to get that extra movement speed buff it does provide, so Xerath can just calmly walk away, line up his stun, and really not be in any danger.
Yeah, there's no real situation where you want a 1v1 unless they're poisoned, and this is pretty cheeky.
Yeah, it looks like we have Luch and Jakey just waiting for Cassiopeia to overextend. I think Chenny Boy has fallen into a trap here. We see a bit of movement out of Xerath, but not too much. Maybe just second-guessing themselves. Or maybe they were waiting for, trying to time the blue buff and seeing if Chenny Boy wanted to come over and get it. But yeah, choosing not to wait too long in there, just going back to mid so Luch can farm it up.
Yeah, having a pink ward available at the blue buff, they had the timer, but Jakey's coming in anyway.
Yeah, it looks like he does have the ultimate available. Chenny Boy, a nice step back, but a bit of a whiff on the part of Jakey, and a great ult from Chenny Boy, but is he going to be enough to survive? No, here comes the Xerath ults coming in. He misses 2 of them so far, but the third one is enough to hit. And in the bot lane, Zeratul, I don't think he's getting out of this one alive. Oh, but the heal was enough to get him out, but here comes the Sivir Boomerang Blade, and it is enough. The Graves collateral damage, doing a lot on the return though.
Yeah, Sejuani giving the kill up, but then Zeratul being so brave, using their heal and living for as long as possible. That's what it felt like just happened there in the mid lane in response from Chenny Boy, just trying to live as long as possible. And then the exact same thing happening in the bot lane where Zeratul almost got out, funnily enough, but they're going to be able to get a turret mid and a turret bot, and it was the exact same trade across the board, basically.
The only difference is that Christmas Trees, I think, teleported down for that one. I'm not sure if Hecarim uses teleport offensively or defensively at the moment.
No, Hecarim teleported about a minute and a half ago. He just walked to mid lane to help push after the fact.
So that means that Hecarim will have his teleport up for the next dragon by the sound of it, while Christmas Tree is going to be having to wait a bit longer on his.
Yeah, the Dragon's not up for a little while though, so there's a chance that Christmas Trees will have his teleport available for it. We'll see what happens though, coming closer to the Dragon.
Yeah, Xerath not even having to basically move from the mid lane to get his blue buff.
Yeah, well, that's the positive of being a Xerath, isn't it?
Yeah, that a huge range on Q. Now, Xerath's such a popular champion after his basically rework, choosing to opt out of that siege mode-esque ability and just become a siege champion himself.
Yeah, 2-0-1 right now, has the Athene's Unholy Grail finished, and he's up against the 0-3 Cassiopeia. She's feeling the hurt right now. There is not a whole lot, but still able to 1v1, by the way. So, given the fact that there's been a lot of attention in mid, Cassiopeia is still strong enough to do work.
Yeah, Cassiopeia champion you never want to get on the wrong side of, because in the 1v1 situation, like you said, she's just going to have every ability to kill you over and over and over again. But it looks like Christmas Trees is the target here as Jakey comes up. I don't think he's going to make anything happen from here because he used his dash to get over the wall. But Christmas Trees just laughing in the face of adversity here. I think that may have been an incorrect play, unnecessarily burning the Flash and his life.
Yeah, I don't really know what to tell you about that right there. Sejuani was rotating, but it was way too early and kind of just went in too soon and thought, I'm going to keep their attention here. Instead
but
dies.
a hook comes in on Siva. The spell shield not going to be able to block it. It mustn't be up, but there it is. But no, Zeratul getting stunned. Oh, and the collateral damage comes through huge.
It's a big mind game with the Siva spell shield, and they use that perfectly, managing to get the free kill on the Siva. They're going to be able to push the tower, and in top lane, speaking of towers being pushed.
Oh, looks like, again, Boomy just going right back in onto Jakey here. Him and Christmas Trees not showing any fear in the face of this Gragas.
No, they certainly do not seem scared of the Gragas, but I personally think that they have a lot of reasons to be scared of this Gragas. He's doing a lot of work right now.
Yes, so far that confidence that he was showing against the Gragas did end up biting him as he was killed and burnt the Flash.
Yeah, definitely. And this is such a hectic mid lane, to say the least, for lack of a better word, of course. Constantly throwing spells out of both heroes. Xerath having the Unholy Grail finished now. He can just freely throw them out. He's up against the Cassiopeia. This is such a mechanically intensive lane. It's so full on and there's so much kill pressure throughout.
Yeah, basically, if Xerath can maintain his range advantage, if Cassiopeia can continue to dodge the Xerath Qs, it might be enough for her to just farm up and get to the hyper carry that she needs to be. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, a killer piece for both ADCs. Kennen support, we haven't seen it do too much right now, except for provide a little bit of CC.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot that Kennen seems to be doing in lane. What is generally a very commanding lane hero, it's a lot more volatile having the Siva, and you're up against the Thresh Graves where their kill pressure is so very high. It doesn't feel like, unless you use your ultimate perfectly and stun both of them multiple times, there's going to be too much kill pressure.
Yeah, there's not a lot you can do when your AD carry gets hooked, unfortunately. No Mikhail's Crucible just yet, but it looks like the Dragon will be the next objective. Lulu's teleport not available for this one, so that's why she is here at the pit. Looks like Hecarim will be teleporting down anytime soon once the fight starts.
So they've definitely started this Dragon up. They know that Hecarim is top, so they're going to, at the very least, force the teleport. He is now recalling, so the Dragon and a fight.
Looks like the team fight comes in. Chenny Boy gets ulted right back into the fight from Gragas. A lot of damage coming up, and here comes the slicing Maelstrom doing work onto Jakey, but two members of BPO have been killed. It looks like Chippies is the next one to fall. Chenny Boy just surviving. A little bit of a stutter step there to avoid the last Xerath ult. Xerath super low. This could be a potential ace for Sudden Fear.
I don't think it's going to be.
No.
Xerath casually walking away there. Getting the stun off on Christmas Trees, there's not a whole lot they can do there, but that Sejuani ultimate was absolutely phenomenal. Initiating so perfectly for his team, allowing the Kennen to come through straight afterwards and use that slicing Maelstrom and actually slice through the team. Cassiopeia's kiting was phenomenal. They just played that fight perfectly, and any lead that was in the favor of Best Players Ocean is now out the window.
Yeah, I think unfortunately Jakey missed the brief on that one. Don't ult the Cassiopeia into your entire team. But as I say that, it looks like the carrier is going a little bit aggressive here. Zeratul getting slowed, so he's not going to be able to provide any more backup damage. But it looks like another hook coming out, but just missing a little bit to the left.
And we've seen it more than once in this series now. The Thresh throwing out a lantern and then flying too far away to be able to actually have someone follow it up. Very unlucky. Zeratul's still there to do damage and at least clear the minions. They're not going to be able to get the turret. And while we're talking, the Gragas initiation on that fight was so perfect, you almost thought it was going to go well. And then just the Sejuani comes in, and the Cassiopeia kiting in the wings, dodging Xerath ults and the Hecarim at the same time. Does so well. The whole team of Sudden Fear right there, cementing such a solid fight with individual mechanics.
Yeah, such a great play to watch again, as we can see, like you said, Cassiopeia doing so much work while being forced into a situation where sometimes she wants to be, but when a Hecarim's in your face, that's the last place you want to be.
Exactly right. And given the fact that she was in the face of a Hecarim, still managing to kite so efficiently is so impressive to note.
Yeah, definitely. It looks like Siva has got her Infinity Edge, and Graves looks like they're basically sitting on the same items each, but Graves not having as much of an impact as the Siva ulti.
Yeah, so the reason they weren't really doing too well in the 2v2 matchup is more so to the fact that you don't have an offensive ultimate like you have from the Graves' collateral damage. So you've got the Siva ult, which gives move speed and enables the team to do a lot in team fights, but when it comes to the 2v2 lane, you can see the Thresh and Graves just have more raw damage because they've got an extra offensive ultimate.
Yeah, definitely, but it's hard to do anything offensive when you're completely stunned by the likes of Sejuani and Kennen. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can play a little bit more defensive or be able to dodge either of the two ultimates.
Yeah, they're going to need to utilize that Sivir ultimate to actually enable them to engage in fights. And if Sejuani continues to do what we just saw, it's going to be very hard for them to come out ahead Best Players Ocean and win a team fight.
Yeah, the Cannon Flash is available, so be looking for that to start off the next potential team fight if Sudden Fear feel like they have the advantage and want to pressure an objective.
Well, there's still a 2-0-1 Xerath to speak of right now, and there's a Trinity Force finished for the Hecarim.
That is true.
Very, very scary are both of those champions right now, and though we've been saying that the team fight that just happened went so well, they're still ahead in gold, Best Players Ocean, only by a marginal amount. Still ahead, though.
Yeah, we definitely can't ignore the rest of what's happened this game, as Best Players Ocean were in the lead for pretty much everything up until that team fight. So they're still going to be about even after that. So it will be interesting to see how they can maintain, get that lead back into their favor.
A lot of these fights are going to come down to who has more impact from the top lane. We've got the Lulu, who's going to be more utility-based, and the Hecarim diving in the back line. Depending on how they both perform in their respective teams for their fights, will really dictate how they actually perform as a 5v5.
Yeah, speaking of 5v5, it looks like we have all 5 members of BPO kind of grouping up towards this Baron, maybe trying to get control. It's only 21 minutes in the game, so Baron only been alive for about a minute and a half, but it looks like Cassiopeia just showing how much raw damage she can output if you overstep even the slightest bit.
Yeah, Cassiopeia cementing her position in the bush and saying, you're not getting wards in here because this is where I am. And doing a lot of damage, even though 0-3, behind in CS by in excess of 40, still having such a strong presence on the map.
Yeah, Cassiopeia has a lot of good base damage and her skills scale quite well with ability power. She has finished her Archangel stuff. It looks like she will be going for the Void next. The Void stuff will be giving her a nice spike of damage as it just obliterates the enemy's magic resistance.
I wouldn't be surprised if that is actually a Rylai's Crystal Scepter instead as well. Given that what we've seen last game was the build. Would not surprise me, but Void Staff would also be a good pickup. They don't have enough resistances really, besides the Hecarim at this stage, and soon to be the Thresh to really warrant a Void Staff just yet.
That's a fair point to make, as the Rylai's Crystal Scepter provides so much extra utility for Cassiopeia, but how much utility can it provide in a 4v1? The ultimate not hitting anyone. Jenny Boy just not in the right place at the right time. They're going to be gifting that one over to Zeratul.
Free kill to Zeratul. I guess there is a Santa Gragas on the board. Presents are coming left, right, and center. It's just caught out of position with a pants down, Cassiopeia right there.
But Sudden Fear answering the correct response, taking a free tower in the mid lane. A happy trade, I'm sure, for Chenny Boy.
Yeah, definitely questionable almost that there was a free tower readily available. Sending 4 people in the bottom. Cassiopeia was out of position, granted, but just gifting a free turret back in response it's interesting to say the least.
No, the teleport gets cancelled, and looks like Christmas Tree is getting a lot of damage put on him. I think he was teleporting bot to stop Graves from getting that tower, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was teleporting bottom.
Graves not going to get the tower regardless, so the teleport wasted a lot of damage onto Christmas Trees, but still Gragas, knowing that they have their attention set, Graves rather, knowing that they have their attention set on him, backs off smartly.
And a lot of damage doesn't even quite cover how much was actually just dished out there. It was ridiculous. Having that death cap finished now, have had it for a while, in fact. Even a bit of gold backing up the Xerath now. 1,200 gold just sitting there. Going to be able to buy whatever they like, basically, at this stage. The Xerath's going to be a big, big factor in coming team fights, especially if they fight for this dragon.
Now, unfortunately, again, Lulu does not have her teleport available for the dragon. So Sudden Fear are going to be having to get all their members down here, but Hecarim is in the base. And not even contesting it. Sudden Fear, just take it.
Yeah, they didn't have the vision. There was no wards actually placed in the Dragon pit. They waited for Gragas to throw the barrel before they started the Dragon. Perfectly timed with no vision available. And the Dragon was gone before Best Players Ocean could react.
Yeah, and with Hecarim wanting to be in the base to teleport for that extra movement speed off home guard, he opts out of giving a lot of pressure in the top lane. It might have been more beneficial for him to just stay there and push the wave into the tower in this scenario.
Very well could have been. And I mean, there's a big minion stack going towards the red side base now. That's a lot of blue dots that if he was there to push, it may have been there sooner as they cancel Moon's recall.
Yeah, and a lot of damage from Xerath just coming across the two members of Sudden Fear there. Not much chance for an initiation here. Both teams have every single ultimate up. Summoner spells are pretty much available, so the next fight is going to be huge. A lot of massive cooldowns will be getting blown.
Yeah, so both teams starting to play a little bit more careful and passive now. There's no Dragon to secure. There's only really the Baron and the outer turret in top lane, which is very unlikely that Alulu's going to steal that off a Hecarim. So there's not really a whole lot on the map to actually go for at this current moment in time, unless they group for an objective as 5 people and they catch someone out of position. But first, that requires ward control, and so that is the next step.
Yeah, we've seen Sejuani pick up a second sight zone for the team, so a lot of extra vision going to be coming out of Sudden Fear, where on the Best Players Ocean, Gragas going for a bit more, not so much as selfish, because it does give the team a big speed buff on Righteous Glory, but lacking vision.
Yeah, and lacking vision, I guess that's a way of putting it, but there's still there's going to be excess vision from Sudden Fear would be the best way to describe it. As Sejuani coming here in the top lane.
Yeah, it looks like she wants to hold on to this ultimate. The slow going to be coming down, but the Gragas jumping right on top of Christmas trees. They are going to be turning their attention back onto Sejuani. Is she going to have to use... No, the Glacial Prison was already used, not being too effective. Christmas trees going to be able to get out of here with a slither of health. The Hecarim kind of turning around thinking that Lulu, she's not worth my time, will go for Sejuani, but Sejuani just too tanky right now.
And that is a very, very low Cassiopeia.
1, 2... Can't hit the...
Oh my god, how did that miss?
Oh, but the snipe coming out, kind of making him feel a little bit too safe after having dodged 2 of the 3 ultimates. But Luch, knowing exactly how much damage he needed and getting a beautiful snipe onto Cassiopeia.
It's one of those insulting feelings where you've just spent all this time dodging the Xerath ults and then just comes in with the Q anyway. It's, why did I bother, is the kind of feeling you have right there. Bad luck to Chenny Boy and smart play from Luch to not just say that you've missed your ults and you're down and out, to stick around and hit that Q and secure a kill.
Yeah, that was absolute max range Q there, hitting basically off screen of Chenny Boy probably. I doubt he even saw it charging.
It most likely was off screen, to be honest. It was at the actual max range, so such a smart play. And getting the kill, though, it was a 1v1 kill. They're not going to be able to get a whole lot from it. As we said, there's not a whole lot on the map for them to secure right now, so it's going to give them a bit of vision control in certain areas near the mid lane, but absolutely no objective available to be taken.
Yeah, it seems like whenever BPO are finding these kills and taking them, there's nothing to gain except just for a little bit of kill gold, whereas Sudden Fear are timing their team fights really, really well around objectives, around towers, and around dragons.
Yeah, that's right. Every time that Sudden Fear have seemed to have gotten kills, it translates to an objective or to a global gold income almost straight away. You could see every time that Best Players Ocean secure a kill when they picked the Cassiopeia in the bot lane, when they got that kill just there on Chenny Boy, which seems to always be on Chenny Boy, funnily enough. 0, 5, and 3. They're not actually securing an objective from that, as Sivir pops the ultimate.
Yeah, it looks like Kennedy coming right in here with a slicing Maelstrom, unable to stun either member, but the carrier is going to be getting focused out here. Sejuani just on 1 member, a bit questionable, but Amphamoon getting taken super low. The Xerath ult's not hitting, but the third one hits. Oh, and the explosive cast knocking him right back into Hecarim. That's all she wrote, but it looks like the fight is going to continue as Christmas Trees teleporting in a little bit too late as Gragas Graves takes out Kennen with the collateral damage.
The Xerath is doing so much damage right now. Xerath only needs to come and use his ultimate and secure a kill. They're all retreating the second that Xerath uses his ultimate to dodge them, using spell shields, heals, everything available to just prevent him from doing damage. He is so far ahead right now that he is a big threat, and they've caught
look at this. Sejuani just going to be blown up. Despite how tanky you are, it doesn't matter if 4 members are right on top of you, doing all the DPS they can.
Now, this is still something worth noting we just mentioned. They got all of those kills. They've now got a 2,000 gold lead. What are they actually getting for it besides the gold?
Yeah, not really that much, but maybe just a little bit of confidence, a bit more mentality that they can still win these team fights, that it's not going to be a 3-0 sweep, that they do have a chance at coming back in this best-of-5 series.
Yes, it's definitely going to be helping them. They're going to have a lot of momentum from getting these extra kills, finding picks left, right, and center. It's going to start translating into objectives if it continues to happen. But with the Dragon up in 35 seconds, this next fight seems to me as though it's going to be the one that dictates the outcome of this game, at the very least.
Yeah,
a snowball in that direction. Yeah,
Christmas Trees is going to have to get back to base quickly and heal up, or else risk the Dragon control going over in favor of BPO. But he's spending a lot of time just destroying that bot wave. Looks like he will be recalling now. Sivir is in the top lane with only 15 seconds left. I don't know if they're forfeiting a little bit too much control here.
Maybe out of position right now is that Sivir. Going to be able to rotate, but they're going to see her at the second inner turret on mid and Dragon up in 3 seconds. They might just start it straight away.
Yeah, it looks like BPO have everyone set up around here. Around the Dragon, rather. Looks like Jakey, an amazing ult last game, getting what seemed like the Sivir, who was going to be safe right back into it. But the Glacial Prison comes out, hitting to it in Zeratul, but he does get the Lantern out, but the Slicing Maelstrom going to stun him up, but they are ignoring him, thinking he's just left for dead, going for Jakey rather, but here comes the Hecarim focusing on the cannon, and the Zeratul coming in, not really hitting anyone, doing 2 shots on Christmas Tree, a lot of damage, but a double kill for Sivir. BPO, the carrier, just running out of here, and a Dragon going over to Sudden Fear.
And it's exactly what we started talking about. You can see Luch is so low right now that he's not going to be able to do anything besides throw spells. And it's going to be up to Zeratul to try some manly play with a Lantern and steal this, if they choose to.
Looks like Moon just going really aggressive there. The collateral damage coming through, but not being able to kill the Dragon. And Kennen pretty much zoning the bot lane from BPO by himself. Even Hecarim coming in there, he was able to survive that, and it looks like they've turned their attention to the Baron.
Exactly, and the Hecarim's not going to be able to utilize that move speed bonus because you have to walk through the Slicing Maelstrom. He zoned the Graves and the Thresh away, and then the rest of Sudden Fear just focused on Jakey and Luch and managed to get a free kill over there. Translate that, they can rotate and do so much more damage with Jakey down. There's going to be no more displacement tanks. Hecarim was zoned, and they just changed their focus to the Dragon. And the one time a team fight goes in favor of Sudden Fear in the past 10 minutes is for a Dragon. Yeah. And it happens every time.
They're playing their timers very, very well.
So we're going back to the Dragon fight. You can see exactly what we see now. The Kennen ult zones the 2 bot lane, and even the Hecarim comes in, has to go on the Kennen. Lulu, to be able to help him with the focus of the ultimate, gives enough time for M for Moon and the rest of Sudden Fear to pick off the Gragas, and Xerath left at the back, licking his wounds just to use that ultimate and try and secure some kills. The Dragon is essentially free and goes to Sudden Fear.
Yeah, they tried to go for a nice little bush strat around that Baron because that would have been what BPO were thinking, but they took the smart route, taking it a little bit safer to the left. The wards from Sudden Fear are amazing right now. Just about 6 or 7 wards just around the Baron pit itself. Excessive warding, I think you're correct.
Excessive warding, but there's nothing else to take because the Dragon's down. So perfect warding, being able to control the entire area. If they go in for a ward, if they see Best Players Ocean place the ward, they're going to know exactly where it is. They're going to kill it straight away, and they're going to continue to deny that vision.
Yeah, just like that, as you mentioned it, a pink ward is spotting out a vision ward. And looks like not too much going to happen here. Baron is probably going to be the next objective for both these teams after a team fight. The team fights seem to go, every second team fight seems to go in the favor of Sudden Fear. But that's unfortunate in the favor of Best Players Ocean because every time a team fight goes off, an objective is secured.
Now we're 33 minutes into this game. The gold is dead even. Well, there's 100 gold difference, which is not even worth mentioning almost. 12 to 11 in kills. 3 to 4 in turrets. There's marginal amounts of difference between them right now. The only real difference is 3 Dragons to 1.
Yeah, now that's going to play a very important role in the next 12 minutes or so with Dragon 4 and 5 coming up. We will see if Sudden Fear can contest those Dragons, get themselves a 5th, and really cement their win conditions.
And this seems to be the trend, is getting 5 Dragons, or at least focusing fights around that where Sudden Fear show their strengths. Maybe they can push that into a win condition for them. They've now got 3. They've got that extra move speed bonus. They've got the % damage bonus on champions from the first Dragon. They're sitting quite pretty when it comes to Dragon buffs, but they need to really be careful of Luch's Xerath damage.
Yeah, that movement speed buff is going to be huge on Cassiopeia and Kennen, allowing them to get right into the range a lot easier, not solely relying on the Sivir ultimate.
That's right. Kennen having that Righteous Glory is going to help a lot when it comes to engaging and utilizing follow-up for the Sejuani ult, which is already, as we've seen, doing so much work, hitting the Zeratul, and I think the fight before hitting all of the carriers as well. So if it continues in that trend and they force fights in places where Best Players Ocean need to face check or at least be forced into a choke point, it's going to go so well for Sudden Fear.
Now, if you have a look at where the kills have fallen, Sejuani having 5 of Sudden Fear's kills and Siva having the remainder, basically the majority of the remainder, where on BPO, all the carries have the kills. The top laner, the mid laner, and the ADC. Yeah,
it's a very good point. There are kills where they need to be right now on the carries of Best Players Ocean. There's a 3,000 gold lead for the Xerath, for the Xerath over the Cassiopeia. Massive amounts of gold in favor. That's the only real discrepancy between them all right now, because Sejuani has a lot more gold than a Gragas.
Yeah, and Sejuani going to be proving to be so key in these team fights, because once the Glacial Prison is down, she is able to continuously slow them, slowing everyone she hits with her passive. So that's going to be huge for kind of cleaning up after a team fight, making sure your members can escape.
Yeah, definitely. And it's going to be so important coming into these next fights. I guess Dragon is the next talking point of the game, up in a minute 30, so there's going to be a lot of time for them to set up and do their thing, prepare for it. You can see a Pink Bomi taking that pink ward and walking away into the Dragon Pit as Gragas just says, get out.
Yeah, it looks like this game has been dictated by the Dragon fights. Sudden Fear aren't really willing to commit to fights that don't result in objectives, as we've seen throughout this game. And once again, getting nice ward control down a minute before the Baron spawns. Christmas trees again, just pushing out the lanes, going to be recalling. The teleport is available for both top laners.
Yeah, they're very close to having that Luden's Echo as well as the Lulu right now. 830 gold should be enough to buy that just in time for the Dragon fight. Big item spike coming in right on time. We've got the Randuins and the Locket for the Sejuani. All the big items coming out. All we're missing is that finished death cap on Cassiopeia.
Yeah, just look for Kennen to do exactly what he did last fight and zone the important members while they split the fight in half. And even if they're going for the tank line, he's cutting off Zeratul and the carrier. That's so much damage in CC just completely not available.
Yeah, if you can, basically as Kennen, if you can zone one carry away, and you've got the Thresh who's always going to be with the Zeratul in particular, if you can do that again, that's 2 out of 5 people that are going to be hitting you, and you're not the one that they want to hit at all.
And if you look at Kennen's build, he is quite tanky with a Righteous Glory, a Giant's Belt, and the Sightstone just giving him that raw health stat, making him look tankier than I'm sure he is.
It's definitely not that tanky when it comes to effective resistances, but health is an effective resistance in itself, and the more health he has, the longer it'll take them to kill him regardless.
And looks like the fight has started. A flash from Cassiopeia into a Glacial Prison. They're slicing Maelstrom in the backline. Looks like Jakey is going to be able to take out Lulu here, but Chenny Boy getting taken out by Chips here. It looks like a really good fight. It looks like Kennen's coming back in, trying to stun the majority of the members, but Luch is still alive. The stun finishing off Siva. I don't think Bomi is going to be able to get out of this one. Kennen was taken down on the back line of this fight, and Bomi just going to get hooked and finish off an ace for Best Players Ocean.
Fantastic fight there from Best Players Ocean. They're going to ignore Dragon. They're going to go straight to Baron. Played perfectly. Sudden Fear initiating that fight with the Flash Cassiopeia ultimate. You wonder why that actually happened now. That's the champion that's not doing a whole lot of damage for the team right now. Going into the back line, Emperor Moon did a lot of work, but it was not going to be because Luch just came back and absolutely decimated them all.
Yeah, it looked so good at the start with Pink Bomi going in after the Cassiopeia ult hit and getting a nice Glacial Prison. The Glacial Prison, the slicing Maelstrom across a few members, but obviously it wasn't enough as Luch stayed safe and did what he couldn't do the other Xerath game and just poke from afar.
Exactly. He's 6-0-6 right now. This Xerath is a force to be reckoned with. He is massive, and you can see how much damage he's doing compared to his lane opponent of Chenny Boy, who's dying very quickly and having to use all of his effort towards staying alive while the Hecarim hits him, while Luch is just freely sitting at the back doing absurd amounts of damage to the enemy team.
Oh, but Chippy's walking right into a Cassiopeia. Not as much damage as Chenny Boy would like, but the fear comes through and looks like Chippy's in the backline. The Xerath ulti coming out. A lot of damage onto Chippy's. Can we see a slicing Maelstrom come through? Not just yet. Pink Bomi's in the middle of the fight, getting taken really low. Oh, but the Graves ult just doing so much damage in the backline. But Kennen and Siva picking up a kill. Graves a double. Xerath finishing off Sejuani, and Kennen just going to be running out of here, but running away from a Hecarim. But with the help of Lulu, that is enough.
They managed to have another team fight right on time, Best Players Ocean there. Fighting for the Baron first, fighting for the Dragon now, and it's going in their favor. Finally, a fight for objectives. are working out in their favor. And Zeratul is one of the most manly players I've seen.
Yeah, look at this, just getting right in between those towers. He does have the Baroned up minions helping him push. The closest member to being alive, 17 seconds on Chenny Boy. This could be an inhibitor turret going down.
And this just came out of nowhere. When it started to feel like Sudden Fear were getting a bit of control, one mistake, one decision to say, now we fight, has completely backfired. And the carries from Best Players Ocean are doing a lot more damage than the carries from Sudden Fear now.
Yeah, Luch is doing exactly what a Xerath should be, completely untouched in the majority of these fights and being able to snipe away the players at the back. It's just so much damage, and there's so much to focus on in the thick of these highly chaotic fights that the last thing you're looking for is that red outline signifying where the Xerath damage is coming from.
Yeah, it's the least of your worries almost, given the fact that you have a Hecarim running around being a helicopter in front of your face, and even Zeratul being in the front line, just doing what Zeratul does. It's so scary having to be against a fed version of the Best Players Ocean comp, and that's exactly what they are right now.
Yeah, they're looking really strong towards the 40-minute mark of this game, just winning out on 2 team fights, getting themselves a Baron and their second Dragon.
Now we're looking at a 6,000 gold lead in favor of Best Players Ocean after those 2 fights. It's going to start hurting more and more as time goes on. The team of Sudden Fear do have a hyper carry. They have a Cassiopeia who can come through there and do a lot of damage coming to the late game, but you got to get to that stage, and they're getting more gold onto Xerath. Cassiopeia finally able to afford a death captive choosing after 2 lost fights.
Yeah, as we saw, she was able to get her initiate onto Chippy's, doing a lot of damage, but just not enough, as Chippy's just man-moded and went straight into the fight.
Yeah, there's going to be no way for them to stop this turret either going down. The snowball has well and truly begun for Best Players Ocean. Getting a lead on the important people, as we said earlier, has now started to translate into just so much extra damage, and all of the wave clear that Sudden Fear have may not even be enough.
Yeah, with super minions pushing up the mid lane, with Xerath just poking from the top lane, this looks like an indefensible turret.
It's going to be so hard for them to stop this. Xerath's damage right now is just unbelievable. They need to basically initiate straight away, and it needs to be onto the Xerath and the Graves. There's no real exception to that rule, because the amount of damage that Xerath is doing cannot be ignored.
I like what they're doing here. They're keeping Graves behind the 2 tanky members and Xerath behind the Thresh. In case of the Sejuani ult comes, they can both kind of back each other up and help the stun members. Yeah,
definitely, and we can see that the blue buff is actually still on Luch, so there's no issues with continuing this siege for a prolonged period until a hook hits.
Oh, and the hook on Luch, but the cleanse is going to be enough to get him out of there safely. Looks like here comes Patu with the ultimate. It's going to be running a lot of damage coming out on Jakey. Can he survive? Chenny Boy flashing over the wall after killing Jakey. Will they be reinitiating this fight? Carrier did flash over to try and get a flay, but it's not going to be enough as 1 kill goes over to Sudden Fear.
Wow, they lived.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, that was actually quite well done. The initiation was good from the Sejuani, but it was instantly cleansed by Xerath. So it kind of negated most of the engage, and they still ended up getting a kill for their troubles. They got Jakey for nothing.
Yeah, that was really, like I said, even though I said indefensible turret, they seemed to prove me wrong. Even though it looked perfect with Luch cleansing the Sejuani ult, getting right in the back, Kennen having to delay his slicing Maelstrom after getting knocked up a few times by the CC. But yeah, Jakey maybe going a little bit too aggressive, and Siva, so much damage coming out of her right now.
Well, the front line of Sudden Fear are not to be ignored as well. The amount of damage that they are actually putting out as tanks is kind of weird. And they're able to sit in the front line and be a pest to this Xerath, who can't focus all of his attention on the carries. Having to go all the way back out of the fight just to use his ultimate, just to have a presence on the carries of Sudden Fear, is really what allowed them to get out alive in that fight.
Yeah, it looked really good at the start, but things just went awry towards the end of the fight. So the Baron going to be up in a minute and a half. We saw Sudden Fear just over there clearing out the wards. Currently, I think Best Players Ocean are going to have the ward advantage, as right now they are still a considerable gold lead, still a considerable more map presence.
And a lot more momentum.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is, I think, the key factor right now. The gold lead is massive, but we can tell that the team comp of Sudden Fear can still win team fights. There's no cleanse available for the Xerath right now. Oh, yeah. There is definitely a Sejuani ult available, and there's no way for you to negate that now. So it's going to be quite scary. Dragon in a minute 30, Baron in a minute. What will they choose?
Yeah, so since BPO were able to get that last dragon, the 5th dragon isn't an objective that will win them the game right now. The Baron, though, probably going to be more contested as it provides the stats they need right now rather than in another 6 minutes.
Well, having a look at the map rotations, we can see that Best Players Ocean are focusing a lot of their attention around the Baron, whereas Sudden Fear are focusing a lot more around the Dragon. So the priorities seem to be a little bit different at the moment. We'll see how they both react, given the buffs are both spawning fairly similar times.
Yeah, Sudden Fear should be a little bit confident after the fight they just had, but it seems like they don't want to take a Baron fight and are just more inclined to get the Dragon, but it looks like a fight might be starting. No vision, though, for Sudden Fear except for in the Baron pit, but I think Gragas is clearing that out as I speak. Not too much going on, just Thresh and Xerath backing off. A push in the mid lane. The inhibitor has respawned. They see Graves in the top lane. They might just go for a brunt force push down the mid.
Definitely a viable option. The rest of the team have started to rotate. Graves is recalling now. And
where's Hecarim teleporting in the back by the looks of it? He is going to teleport and then just... Here he comes, jumping straight onto the cannon. The slicing Maelstrom comes out. The Xerath ult in the background. Look for the Glacial Prison. Only stunning 2 members, the 2 tanks. But Chippy's getting taken super low. And Gragas getting taken out as well. What were BPO thinking?
They tried to engage, but they didn't have the team to back them up. The Hecarim got a sick ultimate off. And then you had Gragas and Hecarim in the back lines against 5 members. And that's a lot of damage coming out onto the...
But it doesn't look like the fight is over yet. Christmas Tree's getting taken super low. Is he going to be able to survive this? He gets the shield off, but no. Getting picked up by Xerath in the back. Oh, Chenny Boy surviving, but Xerath still doing so much damage. No. A triple kill coming out from him. Chenny Boy is on the run because Luch has so much range in the flash. No, narrowly missing there.
Oh my God.
But it's not over yet. The ace for Luch in the face of diversity gets it off and secures his team a little bit extra time in this fight.
You have to wonder what Chenny Boy was thinking right there. He had the oracles on top of his head. He could see the wards that were seeing him, but he continued to walk back towards Luch as if there was the chance of killing him.
Oh,
definitely an interesting decision. But well done to Best Players Ocean and well done to Luch in particular. 9-0-10 right now. Has not died and is absolutely carrying his team on his back at the moment. No matter what mistakes happen, there seems to always be Luch in the background just doing a lot of damage.
That fight was a roller coaster from start to finish. You see BPO and you grab your hair thinking, where are the carries? The tanks are doing their job. And then you see Sudden Fear overstaying their welcome with Luch just dishing out the damage from halfway across the map. And then everything just collides and everyone dies and Luch is the sole survivor.
What started as a good decision, what started as a good fight for them, then got them caught in rotation to the Baron. And in turn has given Baron, or at least the opportunity of Baron, that was a missed ward there.
No, I saw that.
Towards Best Players Ocean.
That's going to be a Baron for sure, unless Sejuani can go for something sneaky. Christmas Tree's just trying to buy time. Sejuani has the potential. It's on 2,000 health. They're going to be watching the health come down. And Sejuani gets it! She gets it against 4 members and flashes out. That is amazing. And Lulu didn't even die either, so her distraction was not only exactly what they needed, but she didn't even die for it.
No, Lulu's efforts were not in vain. A fantastic steal from Sejuani right now. This game is so back and forth. Every single time the Best Players Ocean have a lead, there seems to be a team fight that just goes back in the favor of Sudden Fear. Right now, the Dragon is available. Dragon number 4 puts them one closer to that win condition of 5. They've got the Baron buff now. For some reason, amazing steal from a Pink Foamy.
Oh, and thank God
he did get it.
The karma wasn't there. He is able to get it against the Thresh Hook and the collateral damage. Gragas and Xerath were still walking out of the spawn at that stage. So that's 4 Dragons, a Baron, and the back and forth team fights. A 3k gold lead at this stage doesn't really amount to much.
You call this game almost messy, but I think that's the wrong way to describe it because it's
exciting.
It's almost calculated messiness. They're just capitalizing on the mistakes of the other teams. The problem is they're just making so many mistakes that there is so much going on. And now you're looking at a team that's got Baron, but they're losing by 3,000 gold. What's their next move going to be with Dragon down? I guess pushing a lane?
I don't know. If they push too far out without a clear form of engage, Xerath still so strong, still no deaths, basically a complete build. He's just going to be completely destroying them from afar. So they have to go for an initiate. They have to try and clear out a jungle and try and catch them in rotation.
It's going to be very hard for them to push a lane and utilize this Baron effectively. All the Baron's really going to be doing is just stopping their minion waves from dying while they push them back. And I think for the most part, this Baron buff is going to be a part of getting control back on the map.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they have to be counting their lucky stars that they even have a Baron's buff, that they're still in this game after such a swing in their favor from a Pink Bomi just coming up clutch in the perfect situation that he needed to.
And that was exactly what his team needed at the perfect time in the game. That Baron may have been a nail in the coffin, in which case it's given them another lease on life, another opportunity to come back into this game. And they've been given so many opportunities already. Why not one more?
And it looks like they will just be taking the crab for their troubles. Not too much to gain here, but they do have a nice wave forming in the top. And I think they want to go give the minions that extra steroid they need.
Yeah, they're going to be able to push this wave in, but best players Ocean are here. And they may have something to say about this. They might be looking for an engage. Gragas is in the bush.
Yeah, Sejuani has walked up a little bit too far. But Gragas hitting 3 members back into the team. Chenny Boy getting taken extremely low. Hecarim going to be on top of everybody. Flashes over the wall. The slicing Maelstrom doing enough. Luch killing one. Lulu killing Hecarim. I think Chenny Boy's going to fall from Graves. Yes, that is correct. And it looks like Sudden Fear in full retreat.
Only 2 of them managed to go down there. Pink Bomi is so very low. They're going to be able to push the wave, and they might be able to just actually take that open inhibitor in the mid lane instead. That was a really good fight.
Man, Jakey being so patient, waiting for them to move up. Got that amazing ult on the 3 squishies, just sending them forward. Chenny Boy did all that he could to Hecarim, I think taking him down in the process, but having to flash over the wall and then getting picked up by Zeratul on the escape, and that's going to be an inhibitor.
It's going to be very unlikely that this can be defended. The amount of damage they're doing to that inhibitor, ridiculous. But how is Jakey sitting in that bush? I just have to touch on that again. Absolutely perfect positioning, got himself into the right place at the right time and just knocked the entire team of Sudden Fear towards his team.
Yeah, you look at the score and you think that Luch just has them on his back right now, but everyone in this team is stepping up when they need to and doing exactly what they need to stay in this best-of-5 series. They want that spot at the OPL, and they're going to go down fighting.
They've managed to put themselves into a commanding position again. They've just won a team fight. They've just got the mid inhibitor. But again, there's no real objective past that for them to take. They can try and siege top lane or bot lane. There's no Baron or Dragon just yet. So it's coming down to all about ward control and vision control and map control all over again.
Yeah, it just looks like that. With Sudden Fear having the advantage throughout basically the entire game, then coming back up to it with some more nice advantages, taking that Baron. But yeah, I don't really know what to say right now. It's like the next team fight could probably mean the game.
Well, we're in the calm before the storm, to say the least, at this stage. There's nothing really going to happen. Sudden Fear know that they're not going to look to pick a fight just yet. There's no flashes on most of their team except for the Siva McKinnon. Sejuani has the ultimate available. Flash is almost up now, and that's going to help a lot. But it's still, without Cassiopeia having Flash, I feel like it's a really dangerous position to be in, having to dodge all of the Xerath ultimates, having to dodge the Hecarim. You just need that extra added escape. And Dragon and Baron have both just ticked up on our timers. They're coming up soon.
Yeah, this is going to be a fight for the objectives. And Sudden Fear are in a very tricky spot. 5th Dragon or Baron?
And that's a pretty tough decision. You would say that ideally you would go for the Dragon just because it provides you with so much. If you're sacrificing Baron for that Dragon, you need to win a team fight immediately after. It's definitely worth going for the Dragon over the Baron, though, if you were to make a decision.
Yeah, okay, definitely for that. It looks like the 5th Dragon just providing so much stats that are just going to be key to win this game. The Baron buff not giving the health and magic resist regen that it used to, so only good for sieging if you have a minion wave.
I guess an interesting idea would be, what if they put a lot of their effort towards controlling Baron vision? Yeah. And then instead of doing the Dragon, because it's only the 3rd Dragon for Best Players Ocean, they just got a free Baron.
Yeah, pretty much. So Best Players Ocean, like, their call is going to be pretty obvious. They don't really need the 3rd Dragon, but the Baron is so important for their win condition. But Sudden Fear are kind of caught between these 2 super important objectives, so it'll be interesting to see how both teams play out this kind of, calm before the storm.
Well, yes and no, I suppose, because as Best Players Ocean, you do not want Sudden Fear getting the 5th Dragon, so most of your focus is going to be towards that, which leaves the Baron a little bit there.
The miss hook and the miss stun on a Sejuani. Probably not the best target, but still, CC is CC. But it looks like Sejuani wants to come in, even if it's on a Gragas. She's looking for somewhere to get the Glacial Prison. No targets have shown themselves just yet. The Cassiopeia poison. Not going to be much to do here, but looks like, yeah, a free dragon in the favor of BPO. Now their attention can fully be focused on Baron.
Right, and they had to give it up. They weren't going to go out of their way and lose a team fight for the chance of getting the 5th dragon buff. But they're now going to go directly to Baron. They've got the 3rd dragon, which is really good, especially on a team with a Hecarim. Extra move speed is going to be so important. And this looks like they will be contesting the...
Here comes the teleport in. Oh no! The Gragas ultimate knocked Pink Bomi out of his Q. He wasn't able to get over the wall. Chini's gone down. The cannon is not going to be able to even get his ultimate off. He dies before it's available. Zeratul just doing so much damage. Looks like Moon is going to fall a double kill for Zeratul, sorry. And looks like Christmas Trees is just going to book it out of there. Sejuani recalling and BPO. Could they have done it?
And they may try to end right now. They've got 3 people down. There's only Christmas Trees, and he's in a bit of trouble right now.
No.
Luke's following him. He's not going to be able to get back to base in time, and unlucky to not get that kill. The rest of Best Players Ocean right now pushing the base.
Yeah, I don't think it matters. Super minions on the Nexus turrets. The Nexus is vulnerable. The Nexus is going to fall, and BPO keep their hopes alive for a Game 4.
Luch managing to pick up the kill as well in the background. Well done to Best Players Ocean. Managing to secure a win. It's now 2-1 in favor of Sudden Fear, but they pulled it back. They've got the momentum, and they played that game so well.
Yeah, definitely keeping their dreams alive. They stared in the face of defeat, and they said, not today, and they fought out tooth and nail, almost an hour-long game, I think, to win it. Anyway, stay tuned to see if Sudden Fear can close it out, or if BPO can tie it up.